All right, welcome back, everybody. My name is Rudy, and you're watching Alpha Investments. And of course, due to demand of people saying, "Rudy, I want to see lottery cards," okay, we're gonna have more of a podcast, longer form discussion video today, and we're literally just going to talk about, well, lottery cards. The infamous story from God, I guess when did it start? I guess Zendikar Oath, right? That was the first block with Expeditions, and then the Kaladesh Aether, then of course Amonkhet Hour. So today we're going to have more of a longer form basic discussion video, and all we're going to do today is really just talk about what's happened, the little history of these things, and where I think things are going. So if you're kind of in a relaxing weekend mode, just kind of sit back and sort some cards, and let's talk about some nice little fun chunk of Magic history, which I guess is what is this technically, like what, 2015 to like 2017 or something? I guess you guys can call it maybe kind of that little 3-year window. So yeah, so first we're going to start with, I guess we're going to start with the last one here, because the Amonkhet cards was the last time that they actually made the Masterpiece series. And during this time period, the market reaction when they unveiled, this, the market's reaction was just so ridiculous and just shocking. Oh my God, I don't even know what to say, everybody. The market's reaction was just so stunned on the inability to read the name of the card at the top, the inability to read the type of card in the middle. It was just, the market just, even myself, it was so, and then when the artists started to come out and show the original artwork that they actually did and how much they kind of covered up by the framework, and just, everybody just felt so disappointed and anger and just let down, because including myself, we were all waiting for the era to have an Egyptian theme set. It was one of my favorite concepts, and then when Wizards announced that, even myself, I was so excited. Here you go, I guess the world famous one, right? Force of Will. I was so, that's not Force of Will, that's really funny. That shows how much I can't read the flipping card. Spell Pierce, for those of you looking, and that is an instant if you can read that in the middle. People were so angry and disappointed if you weren't around a couple years ago. It literally, in my opinion, led to the ending of lottery cards. You are looking at the result of what happened that caused the end of lottery cards as we know it. And it was a funky time, everybody. When Zendikar first announced a couple years earlier about the Masterpiece series, myself and everybody, we lost our minds. I was so excited about it, and I think everybody felt the same way. And then as the years went by, it's just like, the sentiment of the market and everybody's opinion and everything just started to evolve into a really weird direction, everyone. Oh, here you go. Here's Force of Will. And by the time we hit these Amonkhet invocations, it just, I don't, it was a really weird time. I genuinely believe if the market backlash wasn't so bad, I actually think these would still be in booster boxes today in Throne of Eldraine. The story, I guess kind of they are, the story kind of showcase, and, Dominaria, the Ixalan, Rivals of Ixalan with the flip cards, It's just, when you look at all this stuff and you think about it, it's such a weird, you have these little chunks in Magic's history, and the chunks kind of define the era. We have the modern Masters with the 7 Masters series era. We have the 3 block era of lottery cards. And we evolve and go through these different eras. And now we're in this new era that's just starting up with multiple Commander products. You got the Throne of Eldraine with the Throne of Eldraine Collector series being released alongside Parallel. So we are in this new era, and these are the previous eras that it's important to think about. What happened, what went right, what went wrong. And it's fun to look back at the cards. So anyways, back to this particular video here. I'm showing you guys lottery card. This is my lottery card book. I've never really gone out and directly purchased lottery cards in the open market. I don't really do anything like that. These are just mostly cards I end up getting as kind of collateral damage when I do collection buying and selling. And as you'll see when we flip through this thing, you're going to see that I'll have pages with missing spots as I sell the cards. And then you'll see pages where it's all full, and there's no order to this because, look at this. There's no order. They're not organized anything because this book changes all the time. Every week, cards leave this binder, cards join this binder. I'm not really sure if you guys want to throw what you think the binder is going to be worth. I'd say there's hundreds of lottery cards. I don't know, maybe 500 lottery cards in here. I'm not really sure. You guys can count as we go if you're really that curious. It doesn't really mean anything to me. But it's just kind of my inventory of it and kind of how I use most of these for leverage on just buying and selling large collections. Honestly, that's really what it comes down to. I do stand firm, as I did many years ago when I first heard about these. While I like the product and the cards, I still do not perceive lottery cards as an investable thing. I love them. I think now, more than ever, I even like the Amonkhet cards because I don't like them because they're beautiful. I like them because they're symbolic. My opinion has evolved over the years in the cards' symbolism have changed on what they represent, what Magic's been through. And I think it's important to have these conversations at least like once a year to reflect how much things change and how the average person's inability to see the change and how it affects people's decision-making poorly. Because change happens many times at such a slow, day-to-day, gradual rate, you don't feel it. You don't see it. So it's important to go back to a video like this and, listen to a nice conversation, look at some pretty cards, and have a good weekend. So now I want to focus on the Kaladesh here. So Kaladesh and Aether, obviously, for those of you who weren't around in 2017, 2016 era, or end of 2016, I guess beginning mostly 2017, when I heard about the infamous announcement that shook the Magic world, that it wasn't that the Battle for Zendikar and Oath of the Gatewatch expeditions were so successful, they were too successful. So Wizards came out, and Mark Rosewall and everybody said that literally every set moving forward will have lottery cards. And that was the turning point of everything, everybody. We went from this amazing, unique set of cards that we were just so excited about to, wait a minute, these aren't going to be unique and special. Every set, we're just going to pump out hundreds of reprints and special redoing shock lands and fetch lands over and over and over and over and over. And everybody's attitude changed on a dime in that moment. And I made a lot of aggressive, negative, angry videos. Of course, everybody loved them, and that's what made the channel blow up years ago. And the infamous Kaladesh invention box, the infamous Kaladesh video with the $100 bills hanging, the infamous videos that really put this channel on the map. And, it really... I've had many conversations late night with some individuals on the topic of if they just handled it differently. If they never announced that we're going to have endless lottery cards, what would have happened? How different would the trajectory of overall inserting these premium products, or cards, not products, how different would things have been, honestly? If they had just discussed it and said it differently, if they truly had just come out and just said, hey, this is a great thing. Whenever we have a set we feel fits the theme, we're going to insert it and do something special. How much of just the tone, the demeanor would have changed everything? And I think about that because I think that the less than 1% of the 10 million Magic players is what Wizards takes feedback from. And it's very scary. It's kind of concerning. Because if you have 10 million, and they claim up to 15 million now, Magic players, but you take feedback from less than a couple thousand players, or actually maybe, you're taking feedback from literally, a 1/10 of 1% of your customer base? It's very dangerous from a corporate standpoint and a business standpoint, from a business owner standpoint. And it leads to mistakes and big screw-ups over time. And nobody's immune to that. I've made many mistakes, and we all have. And that's okay, because we're human. I don't know why people believe mistakes are bad, but that's a strange part of our culture now. So that's why I like to discuss and go over lottery cards every once in a while, because it's such an important topic that's just not appreciated enough of what really happened back then. And these videos are going to serve as great encyclopedias and memories for the years from now. Because, like I said, because most people who are watching this video today weren't even playing Magic 3 years ago. Isn't that amazing? That's how quick things change. So, let me jump back to the Kaladesh thing here. So, we're now dealing with Pioneer and the massive amount of money and movement and discussion is all focused around it. So, we see a lot of things changing, especially dealing with the values of single cards. And because of that, it's really influenced the value of these lottery cards in a very bizarre way I didn't see coming. So first things first, Kaladesh invention cards. Let's flip a page here. This is my current position in it as of November of 2019. I don't have a ton. I have a little bit of everything randomly. I truly don't even have an inventory. I don't even know what's what. Hey, I have a Mana Vault. I don't think I have any of the heavy. Oh, wait, Mox Opal that's one of the ones I've gone up recently. And, to see something like some of these Kaladesh invention cards becoming worth $300 to $400 a card, it really makes me step back and say, wow, I really called that wrong. I didn't think these were investable or would go up in value or anything. And yet here we are. When I see prices on like Mox Opal and Mana Vault and Chalice, there's a hanger back, by the way, because that price has gone up because of Pioneer. It makes me step back and actually say, wait a minute, are these investable? What's changed? What's happened? Oh, look, there you go. I think Mana Crypt is the most expensive, and the Soul Ring, of course. I thought I had another Mana Crypt. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, Mana Vault, maybe. Oh, no, I do. Okay, first page. My bad. Sorry. There's no order of anything. And it makes me stand back and say, wow, so the Kaladesh has become the #1 most sought after, lottery invention style cards. And when I stop and I handle these cards with no sleeves, because that's how Creepy Rudy rolls, and I look at a card like this, and I stand back and I go, well, I'm not going to lie. It's flipping beautiful. There's no way anybody can really downplay how the card looks. And I think what really helped fuel that is, of course, the direction of a lot of things. Mana Crypt was a reprint for Eternal Masters, right? And the card price dropped and all these things happened. And then Pioneer comes along, Master Series get canceled. Kaladesh becomes, instead of it's printed to oblivion, they're all worthless at $80-$90, and now they're pushing $200 a box. So you have the only way to get these cards are from other people in the open market. That a lot of the values of the cards have skyrocketed due to Pioneer and other price spikes. You can't get any more from the sealed boxes because the boxes are so flippin' expensive. If you buy a case of Kaladesh, that's $200 a box. That's literally $1,200 a case. So to get 1.5 invention cards, you got to throw down like $1,200. So you may get 1 or 2 per case. And when you think about that, boy, that really puts a floor on the price, doesn't it, everybody? So I really find that interesting. And I don't think I really predicted that. I didn't think that would be coming. After Hangerback Walker was such a big thing in Magic Origins, it was massive. I'll never forget when it went from $1 to like $14. And people are going crazy, complaining, orders getting canceled, relisted at a higher price, all this stuff. And then, of course, as time went by, Hangerback Walker collapsed in price, went back down to a couple of dollars. Tons of Timmies out there who played Standard lost their they bought a playset of 4 Hangerbacks from Origins. They paid $50 for a playset of 4. And their playset of 4 went from $50 to maybe $10. And they lost, 80-90%, as most Standard Magic players do, to stimulate the machine that is known as Standard for Wizards of the Coast to pay out that quarterly Hasbro dividend. And, what I didn't see coming was the Pioneer massive steroid cash crazy infusion that would re-elevate the price of cards like that. Mana Crypt with Eternal Masters, which was a garbage set, and the infamous history of that green Master Series box. And all of a sudden, all those Master Series through the roof. Wizards isn't doing reprints. They don't care about Modern. Things have changed. And suddenly what happened is, the prices start to go crazy. So then we go back to the original expeditions from Zendikar and Oath of the Gatewatch when they introduced the infamous waste mana, which everybody thought was going to be a big wild thing, and then it just disappeared in the sunset while everybody looked the other direction. And I'm disappointed that these didn't perform better than I thought they would. But I think it's because so many... Battle for Zendikar was open probably the most mass box opening set in history, next to maybe Khans of Tarkir or something. And I think that holds true because I did it myself. I opened hundreds and hundreds of boxes of Battle for Zendikar. I opened 0 for Kaladesh. I opened hundreds of Khans, selling fetch lands and flipping boxes and keeping the foils and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, the thing I didn't see coming was I thought for sure the original expeditions would really hold true. The shock lands and the fetch lands, the filter lands, and then, of course, even with Oath of the Gatewatch, started putting Ancient Tombs and Mana Confluence and some other interesting cards, which all started to dissolve in value. And then as time went on, all of a sudden, we're I don't even know, we're some flipping, that's a lot of Misty Rainforest. You know, when like some of the top cards, like Scolding Tarn, which was like $400 or $500 at release, and it tanked all the way down to 200. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, I should have sold blah 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 Fugazi." And now the prices are all just going back up month over month, which is interesting because I didn't think really fetch lands or anything would have a big impact since they're, you know, quote unquote banned from Pioneer filter lands. So then you got weird things like the isn't Eye of Ugin? I thought that was banned too. I don't know. Here you go. Way in the back here, the Mana Confluence, the Wasteland, Strip Mine. I mean, can you believe? You know, some of them are so cheap, it's very surprising. But then cards using Mana Confluence as an example, I think that's a really interesting textbook example of what happened because the cards had a huge push up from Pioneer. And then, you know, and that's going to bring me to the final phase of this video here. You can't ever predict the outside variables on what changes the value of investments long term. This is something I spend a lot of time thinking about, analyzing, discussing, and it's something that's difficult for all of us to, as humans, to fully understand and comprehend because it's just not possible for the human mind to fully understand all the risks that are in front of you and in the future, because it's very difficult to understand and comprehend and make decisions based on information and events that haven't happened that we have a hard time thinking of. You know, like I said, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, you know, the idea of everybody walking around holding a telephone would have been hilarious. And now the idea of leaving your house without your cell phone, you freak out, you turn around, you run back in and get it. Even if you're just driving down the street. And that's how much things change that you really cannot predict. And so that leads me with, I truly don't know what's going to happen with these lottery cards from this era. You know, but I mean, my instinct based on the current environment is Pioneer and Modern stuff is the biggest boom uptrend I've seen in, I don't even know, maybe ever. Maybe since Modern became a thing. But at the same time, Wizards was doing this most stingiest lack of reprints in Modern history. I've never seen anything like it, where we don't have the Modern reprint sets. I mean, Wizards went from overprinting everything and reprints to just literally cold turkey. So that leads us to these crossroads, everybody. The crossroads of how do you handle this? If you're a collector, a store owner, a distributor, you know, 3% young lady, evil investor like me, how do you determine, based on the current environment and the facts, on how to handle something like these? Do I literally just go on eBay and take 10 cards or a whole page of 9 every Sunday and put a 7-day auction and just start dumping them, one page every week for the next year? Or do you literally start to accumulate because this new boom of new cards? Or do you get scared out of your mind because everything's flashy reprints and it's going to go to zero? So the purpose of this video was to kind of show everybody some of my lottery cards. And again, because when people watch these videos, they change all the time. My positions change. I don't ever have the same stuff. I have more, I have less. It changes so much, you know, people just like to see where I'm at. And this is what I have right now. I mean, it's cool. I mean, these things aren't really my favorite pet peeve thing, but I hope this video opens up a good discussion in the comment sections for those of you who want to watch it, because this is an interesting time in Magic's history. The old stuff is tanking, the new stuff is flashy, and yet the market continues to just have the appetite to buy. And we're at a crossroads. I feel I truly don't know where we're going to go with all these flashy cards. Half of me is very nervous, very scared, a little fearful, because there's so much reprints and flashy and money sloshing around. It's scary. The floor could drop and all of this crap could tank like a brick. Or at the same time, we could go for another 5-10 years of just strong new excitement. I don't know, everybody. And I'm looking for other people's opinions. Hope you guys can give me some interesting stuff below. And hope you guys enjoyed to look at some of these cards. And that's where we stand. It's a weird time, everyone. It truly is a weird time.